Todd is here from the United Kingdom, the UK, and he just completed his program at Aviation Performance Solutions. And so we had a chance to chat here a little bit, and I was explaining how it's nice to kind of catch people before they do the training and get their perspective afterwards. So you're unique in the fact, I'm going to ask you to think back to before you started the training, then your experience at APS, and then what you got out of it. Did it accomplish your goals? So just tell the story however you wish, and I'm just going to let you chat.
Right. Well, thank you very much for having me, BJ. It's an honor. My passion for aviation goes back a long time. By training, I'm an astronautical engineer. I worked in the Mars program for a long time. But I was always very passionate about flying. I started flying when I was about 16 years old. But for external reasons, I couldn't complete any training until about 2 years ago. So, but because I'm passionate about aviation safety, for me it's more than just a cool mode of transportation. It's in fact something that I'm very dedicated towards, and one of the primary causes for accident or unsafe situations are upsets. Loss of control in flight is a very, I think it's the biggest cause of accidents. So I've become a proponent for upset recovery training in general aviation pilots and or generally pilots who often only do this in a simulator, if at all. And so then a common friend introduced us and said, you know, if you want to have good UPRT training yourself, may come to speak to BJ, which thankfully you responded and set me up for this training, which I'm very grateful for.
Awesome. And now, so how were you? So what brought you? So you reached out to our mutual friend, and you were specifically looking for upset training, were you, or did he recommend it?
Well, I was advocating for it, but also looking for it.
Okay.
And he said, you know, come talk to me. So this is what I did. He's a graduate of APS, and showed me a couple of videos. And for me, this is also a convenient location because I'm in Arizona about once a year, around this time of year. So everything came together just nicely, and I'm glad that I could get a few days in while I'm here.
So, you know, if you can think back just a couple days, because this is your third day. So this is what it takes. 3 days to transform you as a pilot is what we claim and we experience. So think back when you arrived on Monday, what were you hoping to get out of the program, and maybe what were your thoughts? And then talk a little bit about your experience. And then at the end, I'll ask you, how are you feeling now about accomplishing your personal objectives? So what were you thinking back then?
So I didn't have, well, I had an open mind, if you want to call it that, because I didn't know quite what to expect. Obviously, I watched the videos, I went through all the training pre-course materials that you guys send out to avail myself of as much information as I could. I studied the airport diagrams and plates and so on, so I knew a little bit about the area where we were flying, and then just see what happens and let the pros handle it and talk me through it, and that was an awesome experience, I must say. Took great care of me from the first time I reached out to all the way through to completion of the course.
And so just to kind of summarize your course, we talked about this a little bit. You went through your Cessna 182 pilot.
That's right.
And you went through the 4-flight extra 300 piston program with advanced simulation at the end.
Correct.
And so do you want to maybe talk about how did that land well with you? Do you feel like that was a comprehensive approach to the program?
Oh, absolutely it was. There are certain things that you would not do or could not do in a 182 and still have a reusable airplane at the end. Right. You may land safely, but it may not be a reusable airplane. So certain things need to be, done in training aircraft, and the extra 300 I think is perfect for this job because it can take a lot more beating even from untrained pilots who do this for the first time. But then the simulator rounded it up because I got the Cessna relevant training in the simulator, and we applied those techniques, and even if I land with a bent wing, I will land, and so that is of course the objective. So was it effective? I hope I will never find out. Right.
Well, the one thing we talk about is while you have the capability essentially to recognize and recover from any recoverable airplane upset you can face, the real value of an effective program is increasing awareness, recognition, and
That's
prevention to never be there in the first place. And ideally, that should serve you on every flight. Do you feel like it's going to apply in your operations?
Yes, absolutely it does. So there's three factors to it that I'd like to point out for anyone who's watching this and thinking, is this the right thing for me? I think it is. The moment you're flying, this is the right program. And again, there's three reasons for it. The best remedy to any situation is that you don't need the remedy, right? So what this program teaches you is a lot about how you experience aerodynamics. Now, I have a Ph.D. in hypersonic re-entry, descent and landing. I know aerodynamics. I wrote books about this stuff. But there's no manner of paper study that can really hammer home what it feels like to be in a certain aerodynamic stall, for example. So you can talk about the Bernoulli equation, you can talk about vectors, left, right, and center, and it all makes sense on paper, but to experience that cannot be replaced. So you can't do that in a simulation, you can't do that on paper studies, you can't read books until you get it. You have to actually do it. And so that's a huge thing. So that will sort of give you the spidey senses, as it were, to not end up in trouble. But it will also give you and that's the second point, a structured response, a well-trained, well-disciplined response on what to do when you do end up in a situation you have to get out quickly. And what that does, it reduces the fear factor. Right. The moment you have a well-trained, well-rehearsed, structured way of escaping a situation, that situation gets from an unknown, scary thing to a well-known response thing.
Right.
And so that in itself is a huge psychological advantage. And then the third is obvious, of course, just for good measure, you actually do train how to get out of it. So besides all the, your experience not getting into it and your well-trained way of getting out of it, you do train that. So if you can't help it, if you're in an upset for whatever reason, and we've seen this, wake turbulence can actually cause a business jet to lose control in flight, in cruise flight. This will, in fact, give you the techniques on how to respond correctly. And the correct response isn't what you think it is. It's not intuitive. So you do need to practice that.
Yeah.
And this course gave me that practice. So I think I'm much, much better equipped. And my recommendation for all pilots of any fixed-wing aircraft would be to go through this program, because it will make you a better pilot. Beyond just, and better in this case, good in this case, that's defined by myself, is being a safe pilot.
Well, I got nothing else to say. I mean, you wrapped it up such a great way with those three takeaways. So thank you very much for that, and best of success in your flying. And again, we hope you never need the skills and the training, but hopefully you use them every day to be sure you never get close to the need of a recovery.
Correct. It's a bit like the dentist, right? It's good to have one, but hopefully you won't ever have to go see them.
Right. You keep brushing your teeth twice a day, right?
Exactly. So that's the preventive thing. PJ, thank you very much for the course. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Thanks for taking time to chat with me about this. I think everybody at home is going to get a lot out of that.
Anytime. Thank you.
Safe journeys.